And we are recording on Sunday, June 11th, 2023 at 4:36 p.m. Eastern time with Miss Calli Varner, who, as I was telling beforehand, I wish I could tell people I'm never late to my show, but I'm literally late to every episode. And I feel like at a certain point, I just need to start owning it and just being like, I'm a bad person. But we're going to talk about vaccine injury, which no one else really wants to talk about. Can't understand why. I feel like if we are just 3 years ago, we were out there frothing at the mouth saying if it saves one life. So, I mean, shouldn't that same logic apply? If it saves one life, shouldn't we? Oh, well, of course it doesn't, because if you are against the vaccine, you're a demon Nazi and whatever. I've heard it all. But you had a stroke 8 weeks after you had the vaccine. Dr. McCullough put me in touch with you, and I believe you are the second vax injured person I've had on my podcast. I've had a lot of doctors talk about it, but you are the second individual to actually have one yourself. So as I rudely post the live link, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Calli Varner, and I had a blood clot go to my brain, which caused a ischemic stroke when I was 35 years old in November of 2021, 8 weeks after I had the Pfizer vaccine.
And you said you have done interviews before
Mhm.
and they cover the stroke, but
Yes,
not the cause.
correct. The American Heart and Stroke Association did a great little write up, just alerting others that women in their mid 30s can have a stroke, but no mention of the vaccine in the article.
Why would they even do an interview then?
Because they just wanted to spread awareness that women as young as I did, 35, could suffer a stroke. Because they told me that we really can't find the root cause of my stroke, and I've been told that by many doctors, of course.
Sure.
We know the root cause.
Yeah.
um, but they tell me it was most likely, because I was a woman in my mid 30s, but there's lots of women in their mid 30s that are healthy when I was healthy that have not had strokes. Um, I was on birth control, but I was also on birth control for 15 years.
Mhm.
So the timing again. And they also found out that I have fibromuscular dysplasia, which are narrow arteries in my neck, which could, of course, cause a stroke. But again, they told me that's something I was born with. So again, I raised the question, why now at 35 would that be an issue if I've never had an issue my entire life?
Yeah, there
Uh,
is you almost wonder, and I don't want to give them any credit because it sounds like they're demons from hell, but you almost wonder if they're like half-heartedly trying to do the right thing. Like, we're gonna interview you.
right,
Why else would we be? Strokes are horrible, but it's not necessarily, car crashes don't make the news. They're
right.
terrible, but I mean, they don't make a plane crash does, but it's just what it is. Strokes happen. I feel like if they wanted to interview someone, a 35-year-old healthy individual who had a stroke, it would be to highlight that it is an anomaly. And again, I don't want to give them credit because over the last 3 years, I've seen the true colors of the vast majority of the population and how they all lack spines and how most of the men lack testicles. And no one can even make an empirical observation and say that's not normal. So maybe they're interviewing you and not saying it, but they know people will draw the conclusion. But that's about as much credit as I'm going to give them.
I mean, I would hope so. The doctors in the hospital asked, all the vaccines I've had, they did mark down. I looked back at my notes. They did mark down that I had the vaccine, but of course, they didn't report it to who they should have reported it to because they'd never had any of my vaccine information because it was at home in Scottsdale and I was in Vegas in the ER in ICU because I had the stroke in Lake Havasu City when I was visiting my parents and I had to be air vac to Vegas. So they didn't have my lot number. They didn't have any of the information. So they did not report it.
What was it
And
like when you had, if you don't mind me asking? Sorry.
well, yes, I could, that's true. I can start from the beginning because it
No,
is
dude,
very,
do whatever you want. Go whichever way.
um,
I don't care.
so I was in a wedding, in September, for one of my best friends who is a doctor, and she wanted everyone to either be A, vaccinated, or B, have a negative test, COVID test. And I just was afraid that I would have a false positive or something, and oh, then I wouldn't be able to go to the wedding or be in the wedding or anything. So I decided I'm just going to have the vaccine to be safe. I didn't want the vaccine. I never wanted the vaccine, but I even said to myself, what's the worst that's going to happen? Unfortunately, 8 weeks later, one of the worst things happened. And I was visiting my parents in Lake Havasu City over Thanksgiving, which is about 3.5 hour drive from where I live in Scottsdale, my hometown, and was going to get up that Sunday. Everything was perfectly fine, felt fine all week, healthy, go to spin class about 3 to 4 times a week. So I'm a healthy 35-year-old. Was getting ready to drive home that morning, getting ready to take the 3.5 hour drive, woke up, set my alarm, everything fine. Felt a little numbness in my left hand, thinking, oh, I slept on it wrong, whatever. Went in to talk to my mom, and I couldn't get the words out. The words I could get out were slurred. My mom looked at me funny and said, what is wrong with you? Your face is drooping.
Oh,
None of us really knew the signs of a stroke, and none of us could even fathom that a healthy 35-year-old like myself could have a stroke. So stroke, not in our minds at all. Dad said, go lay down. Maybe you just need a drink of water. Because I was trying to get the words out that my face feels funny. I went to go to the restroom, and my whole left side of my body just collapsed. I mean, I collapsed.
just
It just gave out. The parents couldn't hear me fall. I fell in between the bathtub and the toilet. I tried to get up, but of course my whole left body was useless. So I made as much noise as I could, banging on the bathtub to have them come in. They tried to get me up, and I'm dead weight. They're just no idea what's going on. They're just freaking out. They put me on the floor in between my bedroom at their house and the bathroom in the middle of the entry. And at this point, I'm just thinking I'm dying.
yeah.
We have no idea what's going on. My dad pretty much says, if you don't snap out of this, like, we're going to call the ambulance. And I say, no ambulance. I just want to die right there. I just have no idea what's going on. My parents run next door to their neighbors who are in the medical field. They're in the cardiology field at a hospital nearby. They come over, and right away they knew. They said, we think she's having a stroke. We need to call 911. The ambulance comes, gets me, takes me to the local Lake Havasu City Hospital, which unfortunately is not equipped to take on my case.
Yeah.
They find out that I have a blood clot to my brain, and I am a 14 on the stroke scale when I get in there. So it is a moderate ischemic stroke. I mean, 15 and above is a severe stroke. My face is drooping. I sent you those pictures. It's bad.
Yeah.
And so they just determined that I have to be air back to Las Vegas Sunrise Hospital in Las Vegas. So they air back me there. Doctors do all these tests. There is a blood clot in my brain. They determine that it is probably safest not to do anything with it, say it will dissolve on its own. Do all these tests, can't figure out what has caused the blood clot to go to my brain. They gave me TPA to slow down the effects of the blood clot. So the timing saved my life. It could have been much worse. They did a TE, no hole in my heart. They figured I had the narrow arteries, but they were clear. So they weren't. So I'm not really sure if that was the cause, as they say, it could have been. Or the birth control. So I do have a loop recorder in my heart to test for AFib. I just got a checkup a week ago. No AFib has been detected at all. So again, another thing that, nope, nothing has pointed to any reason for having a stroke at this age. I have a carotid web. That's something I was born with again. Nothing. Nobody can find a reason to why I had a stroke at 35, except for the vaccine. And again, no doctor has mentioned the vaccine. Every doctor I've seen, every specialist. The only person that has ever mentioned the vaccine were travel nurses that I have seen. Multiple travel nurses.
Wow. Okay. Why do you think that is? Maybe they're not tied
They
down to a single hospital. They're not worried about. Wow, that's evil.
from the ER to the ICU, all over.
Wow.
Because I've had to return to ERs after my stroke because I had some issues with headaches nonstop, what we believe to be seizures. Um, and every pretty much nurse that I ran into said, we've seen so many cases with women in their mid 30s like you with blood clots. And they all had the vaccine. And I said, oh, interesting. So they're like, yeah.
And you can't sue. Can't do anything. So you guys got to foot the medical bill.
Yeah. I had luckily good insurance with my job, but I probably paid about at least 15,000 out of pocket.
And if you don't mind me asking, long effects. What effects are still? And just
Yes.
so I have it right. So you took it
Of
in,
course.
was it November 20? Am I butchering the
Yeah.
dates?
November 28th of 2021 was my stroke. And
Okay.
I've done very well since, thankfully, because I did get the TPA in time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was with somebody. I wasn't alone. I live alone. So if I was home
Jeez,
alone,
you'd be
if
dead.
I would be dead.
Yeah.
If I was on the road like I was supposed to be, I would be dead.
Someone else would
Timing,
be dead too.
exactly. Timing was on my side. So I've had a great recovery. I am young and healthy. That has helped. I do have some nerve damage on the left side of my body, numbness here and there on my arm and hand. I do feel like I have some cognitive difficulties from time to time. I don't feel myself from what I used to be. I feel that I'm not as sharp as I used to be. And I notice it a lot with work and certain things. I feel like I can't always find the words that I need. It definitely is. I'm definitely a different person.
Hmm.
So that is hard. And I also, and it's funny because I was talking to Dr. McCullough about this through a text message yesterday, do not have a menstrual cycle anymore. And I thought it was caused by my stroke because I'd gone to endocrinologists, I've seen specialists, we've had tests done. They told me I'm a mystery because they've never seen a stroke have a correlation with this. And Dr. McCullough told me that there's been studies done that the vaccine causes disruption in menstrual cycles.
Oh, I've
So,
interviewed the doctors that do that. Yeah.
and they have told me that at 35, now I'm 36 years old, that I am in pre-menopause. And I will probably most likely not be able to have children. And I blame the vaccine as well.
And on top of it all, so you
Yeah.
survived, thank God. Your parents didn't lose a child, thank
Yeah.
God. You didn't kill someone on the highway, thank God. Definitely a lot of blessings. Definitely, shout out to the big guy upstairs.
Exactly.
And sucks, can't have kids, can't sue them. Had decent health insurance, 15K is not nothing, but it's small. You lived.
Exactly.
It's a reasonable. But on top of it all, the very the only thing left for you to do is, because you have, excuse my French, you've been fucked in every other manner, is to warn others. Hey, this happened to me. I can't get repaid by it. My insurance sucks. I have these long-term effects. I won't be able to be a mother. Blah blah blah. But hey, maybe you can learn from. In 2014. I lost a brother to suicide. There's nothing I can do. I can't bring him back. It sucks. It's over. It's whatever. It's done. The very least thing I can do is I do episodes about mental health. I try to bring awareness to it. I have veterans on. There's 22 veteran suicides a day. I try to bring them on. I try to, give awareness to free mental health clinics. I try to do something because it's been 9 years, and me and my brothers and my family have really all concluded the only thing you can do is say, hey, here are the signs. I hope it doesn't happen to you. And I have
Exactly.
luckily had friends that have said, I have a buddy or a cousin or something, and maybe it was cool, got it, good. I feel like I did the right thing. You can't even do that. You can't even say, hey guys, this happened to me. The only thing I have left, like me, is to say, I hope it doesn't happen to you. Here are the signs. Here's where you can, here's a toll-free number, here's a suicide hotline. You do that and you get attacked and called an anti-vaxxer. At best, you get called an anti-vaxxer. Most likely, you just get shadow banned, or they have you on and they don't even have the balls to ask you, what do you think caused it?
Right. And that's why, I mean, at least with the story that I have done, I can raise awareness to others, the signs of a stroke, so that they can get help in time, which is great. But and I have been weary to tell my story about the vaccine, because I have friends who are, I'm afraid of losing some of my best friends that I've had for my whole life. I've had friends. I went with my friend, took me to get the vaccine because she was for it. And she's like, this is so great. I'm so proud of you. And now I'm afraid I'm going to lose her as a friend for speaking out and saying that, yes, the vaccine caused my stroke. Or the friend that I was in the wedding, I'm not blaming her whatsoever.
Sure. Yeah, free will. It was no, I got you.
But she's a doctor and she believes in the vaccine. That's fine. You can believe in it. But I know in my heart, and I know what this studies are showing, and that if no doctor can tell me, hey, this is why, you had this stroke, you cannot tell me that things that I've been doing for years caused my stroke. When I had a stroke 8 weeks after something that was put in my body.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're not wrong. You will lose your friends, and I'm telling you that as someone that has retained 3 of my friends from middle school, high school, and college, all, much like the vaccine, directly correlated with the time that I started interviewing doctors talking about vaccines. So you're not wrong. You will. They'll all leave you, which is, personally, I look at it and I go, well, that means they were never friends. But again, that's for me to decide. That's not for you to decide. That's your life. This is my life. I have 3 friends that have stayed with me, and mostly because they're adults and they go agree to disagree, which is what adults do. But no, a lot of people. I mean, I've been uninvited to weddings. I've been yeah, from people I've known for my entire life. So and that's not nothing. That may sound like a luxury, but the reality is I mean, to really kind of go into left field, which is what I do with these podcasts, that's an actual tactic used by intelligence communities during like the Cold War and stuff, is like not just shooting someone or blowing them up, but embarrassing them. I mean, schoolyard taunts work. You don't always need to kill someone in another country. You can have their employer, they would blackmail them, send them photos of a guy wearing a dress or something. It's a real thing that works up until the day you die. Is we're social creatures. We don't want to be ostracized. That's why there's a funny joke where it's like, how I know we're social people is that in prison, your punishment is they put you in solitary confinement away from other prisoners, away from other murderers. That's your punishment. So it does work, man. Losing friends, getting made fun of, being called an anti-vaxxer, getting removed from group text, all these things that sound petty. No, I would say that above all else, sure, it sucked getting my podcast banned from YouTube and Spotify. Sure, the mean comments hurt. The ones that hurt the most were just the friends that stopped talking, not the money lost, not the hit my business took, but the social ostracization. That's the thing that hurt the most. It wasn't physical threats. It was friends chuckling behind your back. And so, man, I don't fault you at all for that, but it just makes it that much more evil. Sorry for that.
But
that rant.
It's worth it, I think. I mean, it sucks, but my story needs to be told, and others' stories need to be told about this, because it's scary.
Yeah. What if
this has taken so much from me?
What if someone else your age in the same city had a stroke 6 months prior to you from the vaccine?
Mm-hmm.
And man, if they had just said something, maybe they were at your job, maybe they were your neighbor, maybe you guys went to the gym together, and maybe they never said anything because, they didn't want their friends to make fun of them. And it's like, hey, man, there's real effects to this shit. There's so many weird, almost poetic parallels stay home, wear a mask. You infect one person, they infect two, they infect four. You don't say anything, man. Hey, I was injured by this. It's ruined my life. How many more people are? I mean, I've had like 2 years ago, I had a woman on here who was like a ultra marathon athlete and like can't walk without a wheelchair or without a walker now. And she's like, I've lost almost all of my friends, but she's like, I can't bring myself to not talk about this.
And
It's
I'm so fortunate I can go back to my spin class, cycling class 3 to 4 times a week. And I am, I do look 100% recovered, but I mean, I'm not mentally or emotionally recovered by any means. I am in therapy. And I found an extraordinary therapist who is actually on my side. She thinks, I've talked to her about it. And she said, I really think maybe some of your issues or you're trying to recover from this is the fact that you're not, the vaccine did cause this and you're angry.
oh yeah, absolutely.
I said, I think you nailed it. But she's a good therapist. She's like, you've come to the right place.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I found the right one.
Yeah, no. Blind anger is definitely every year around my brother's anniversary. I don't get sad, I don't cry. I just get I'd be just so angry at everything and everyone. And it's just there's nothing to do but to let it out. And yeah, man, there's a lot of like you said, you can't blame anyone. Nobody put a gun to your head. But God, there's just it's okay to just be angry, even if you know that the anger isn't going to solve it. It's okay to just when you're really angry and you like smack something, just whatever, you throw a pillow or whatever. You're an adult, you know that's not going to do anything, but it feels good, like
It's
right. So just yeah, you just screaming, and I mean, yeah, around my brother's anniversary, I get angry. I get angry that this happened to me. For it's just selfish. I'm like, I wish it happened to someone else. And you just why me? What what the hell did I do?
well, one thing I said to my therapist, and I loved this, I said, I should be thankful for being alive and for recovering so well. But I'm upset. And she said, well, we could look at it that way, but can't we look at it for what it is, that it's fucked up that it happened to you in the first place?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, girl, that's.
Oh, I know. Dude, I was seeing a therapist. I was seeing a therapist in New York after my brother died. And you're better than me. Yeah, at least you're doing it now. It took me like 3 years to start seeing a therapist. Just this like short little Jewish woman from like Harvard. And I thought she was like so professional and doctoral. And I think I was in like my second session with her, and I was like, "Yeah, I just get angry sometimes." She's like, "Yeah, it fucking sucks dick," and I was like, "Excuse me," and she was like, "It's okay to get angry," and I was like, "I love you, I love you
Yep,
so much."
find the right one.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's okay to just get blind angry about it, but it's so fucked up. And man, your situation I think is worse than mine because mine happened, and I can relate to other people, and I can talk about it, and no one tries to shut me up. And other people reach out and hey, I lost somebody, and we all talk and help each other through this journey. Yours was pushed down from on high, and everyone was told to get it or you're a bad person, and it didn't have to happen.
No, and it's still, the funny thing is, well, it's not very funny, but I even told myself, what really is the worst thing that's going to happen? You know, I remember saying that as I was walking in to Costco to get the vaccine. What's the worst?
Yeah, my crippling anxiety probably saved me because I remember thinking, what's the worst that could happen? And I was just like, everything, and I was like, that's enough for me. I'm not I,
Yeah, I really didn't think this would ever.
now
It
sorry, go on.
just shows that, I don't know. like just wasn't enough information out there. And maybe it doesn't affect everyone the same, and maybe it affects certain people with a certain gene. I can't answer that for you, but all I can tell you is that it does impact certain people because I lived it.
Yeah. Is there any way? I'm trying to rationalize it because I have to at least attempt to. Because my go-to answer is always, well, the doctors they're a bunch of pussies who won't point out evil when they see it, and they know this is happening, and they're violating the Hippocratic Oath of first do no harm. Maybe it's, I don't believe this, but it's like if I had to take a guess, maybe there is no way to trace it back to the vaccine. Is there not like a telltale? Is there not like a telltale? It's an anomaly, and anyone with a functioning brain can go. A young, healthy woman wouldn't have a stroke ever, but especially 8 weeks after an experimental vaccine. Is there no maybe actual physical correlation? Right. Like in law. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know why I'm talking about this, but in law, like you got to show evidence. It doesn't matter how. Yeah, he went over there and then he left, and the wife was dead. And it's like, yeah, but unless you have a fingerprint or something, you're innocent. You're innocent. Is it that? Is there no actual like biometabolic like fingerprint?
I mean, I don't know because there's no fingerprint to say birth control caused it. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a fair point.
I mean,
That's a fair. No, that's
I don't really know the answer to that. I just don't think they want to show that like Fauci and the government were wrong. I guess.
God. So what is there to do? Like what can you realistically? I mean, is there again, I know I keep coming back to this, but I've had friends tell me before, they're like, it's okay for you to like not go on this vendetta against mental health. Like it is okay for you to just live your life and go, what happened sucked, and just go live a happy life. And I agree with that. Yeah, I technically don't have to. I morally can't. I can't sleep well knowing I'm not doing something. Is there any part of you that's just like, just take all of this, put it in a box and bury it and go, yeah, it sucked, whatever. I still got all of my life ahead of me? Or is there a part of you that's like, this is so fucked?
I've tried to do that
Okay.
and there but then just more things come out. Jamie Foxx.
Hmm.
I that happened to Jamie Foxx. And then I see more things come out about things happening to other people. And I feel like I need to say something because my story is incredible.
Yeah.
It's an amazing story, not it's an amazing story as to meaning like it really shows what the vaccine did, in my opinion. Like it's like I'm the perfect guinea pig in a way
Yeah.
without wanting to be.
Yeah. Well, that's the evil part.
Like I have so much tests done. I have so much everything that just points to we have no answers for you. Well, okay. I mean, the only answer I have to tell you is 8 weeks prior, a very foreign thing went into my body. And then I had a stroke. Doesn't really take much to
Yeah.
tell you that leads to my findings. Oh, and I took all the tests, all the gene tests and all the blood tests to see if I had the blood clotting disorder or whatever. Nothing. I mean, nothing came back. Clean bill of health. So I was really hoping something would
Sure.
come back.
Yeah.
And when nothing has, I mean, oh, you have this, you have this. Yeah, but it's something that you were born with, they keep telling me. Well, then if I've never had any issue with it before and you keep checking my arteries, I even had an ultrasound this year and they're all clear. Like, then if they're clear, then And they were cleared the day I came into the hospital with my stroke.
They were clear that day.
I checked my ultrasound results, yes. The only thing they found was a thyroid nodule, which wouldn't have caused my stroke.
And it's not even like you're 86.
I know.
It'd be like you were born with this, and you're like, yeah, but I've gone my whole life without it. And they're like, but you're 86 now, and you'd be like, yeah, I guess that makes sense, right? It's like you're 30. What if you don't mind? What have your parents said?
Um, they think it's the vaccine.
Yeah,
They got the vaccine too. At first they were
sure.
like, we're older, we want to get it, we feel like we
Yeah,
should get it. Now they are against it. They feel that it, yeah.
and you can't talk about it because you're gonna lose your friends. And then
A
it's
lot
like,
are for, I mean, a lot of my friends are on my side. One of my really good friends was very upset that I got the vaccine because he was like, this is dangerous. This is dangerous. Like, I was afraid to tell him I got it. I knew I wouldn't lose him as a friend over it, but and then when my dad called him to tell him I had the stroke, he knew right away. He knew vaccine.
God, jeez.
And I did look up, I have lot numbers, obviously, and there's a site that you can look up to see the reported cases of how many reported incidences that are with that vaccine number. And like I said, mine was not reported, but I did look up the reported cases, which it's 10% they say are reported. So, I mean, you have to take that number with some grace. But my first vaccine was 1,200 reported incidents. My second one, which was 3 weeks after the first one, was 1,300. So I definitely got a bad batch.
You're a better person than I am.
Yeah.
I would have lost my mind.
Yeah, I've done my,
I'd be in jail. God. And then and then insult to injury is all right. So you have long lasting effects. You don't feel totally yourself. Mental acuity doesn't feel like it's all there. You probably can't have kids. And if you bring it up, you're also going to lose your friends.
yes. So there's quite a bit that goes
What
along
the?
with just yeah. But I don't want to stay silent anymore, and
Yeah.
there might be consequences with it, but oh well. It's
Well,
taken enough from me, and I don't want it to take it from anyone else.
that the second thing is very selfless, but the first is, what else can it take? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? It's what are you gonna? Well, if you talk out about it, there's gonna be backlash. Is it gonna
Yeah.
be as bad as a stroke?
No, no, exactly.
Is the backlash gonna be an airlift to a hospital? No, some people are gonna be angry at you. Okay, got it.
Yeah. And maybe that is why I survived. Maybe that's why this happened to me. Maybe I was meant to do this.
I firmly believe that that's what we're all here for. That we are all. And I don't know if it will help you or not. There's a really cool doctor named Dr. Eben Alexander. He's like a Harvard neurosurgeon, brain surgeon. Wrote a book in I think '08 called Proof of Heaven. And I was like a hardcore atheist at the time, and I was like, whatever, fuck this. And I've a decade later started the podcast, and I've since had him on several times, and he's a really sweet, wonderful guy. But he was like a hardcore atheist and had this like a bacterial infection that like 1 in 10 million people survive, and he's in a coma for I think 10 days. Basically went through like all these stages of like just like starting in hell, going to purgatory, then like going to heaven and like meeting God. And says the most real experience of his life, completely changed his life after it. I mean, has written books. I mean, and this guy's not me screaming in a bedroom at a microphone. He's literally a Harvard brain surgeon. Like, that's the thing you make up if you want. I'm a Harvard brain surgeon. I'm a rocket scientist. It's almost a meme, like how qualified. Yeah, he's a Harvard brain surgeon. Like, good lord. And he talks about this and how it's changed his mind on everything. Your consciousness doesn't arise in the brain. The brains are whatever, the whole 9 yards. But he has another book. I think it's called Living in a Mindful Universe or Living in a Conscious Universe. And he kind of fleshes out this whole idea that before this life, we choose what we're going to go. It's not just that we're here to go through a challenge and learn something, but that we actually choose it, which is a tough pill to swallow because that means I chose a life where at 23, my 27-year-old brother would kill himself. And it's a tough pill to swallow because you're not only are you saying that there's a bigger plan to this, but it's like, actually, Tommy, you did this. And once you get over that anger at even the suggestion of you would do this to yourself, you can start to examine it a little less emotionally and start to go, well, what is the point? Like today I went to the gym and I exercised my shoulders. It was very painful and I hated it. But I went there with a plan to do it, down to the exact number of reps. And although it sucked, no part of me was like, why is this happening to me? Why am I in this gym lifting these dumbbells? And I was like, no, I did it. I knew exactly what I was going to do, and I know what I'm going to do tomorrow. But you do it for a purpose, and it's to build muscle of a certain body part. So if you extrapolate that, it would mean that we are in this incarnation on this planet revolving around this star and whatever the hell this whole thing is, life, reality, the simulation, existence. It means that we are here specifically to learn something specific and to grow from it. And I'm very open to the fact that that just might be my puny human mind trying to rationalize great pain. But it doesn't seem that far out to me. Like that is, so it might be your hurdle. That might be what you're here for.
I mean, I do admit since my stroke, I've gotten to do some incredible things that I never thought I would ever dream of.
Yeah.
Just by who I've met, who has prayed for me, who has heard my story, and just, I mean, it's like my life has also, some great things that I've, I'm a huge football fan, diehard football fan, diehard Kansas City Chiefs fan, as you can tell. Chiefs came out here for the Super Bowl, and I was able to go to the Chiefs Super Bowl party, and party, and I mean, meet
like with the football players.
Yeah,
What?
Yes, like meet Paul Rudd, meet Andy Reid, meet Travis Kelce. I was able to go to the NFL draft in Kansas City and
What?
hang out backstage with Jason Kelce and Travis Kelce and meet Patrick Mahomes and just do all these things because I became friends with Patrick's mom. She's one of my great dear friends and it's just like all these things that I got to do. I don't know. It's been a blessing. So
Yeah, I mean, that shit's on my story. That's more proof than anything that you're like that this was supposed to happen. Not to make light of it, but I mean, like, is that
well,
not like proof?
I just remember sitting in the hospital because I knew the Chiefs were coming out here to play the Cardinals in regular season. Just, okay, I got to get better. I got to get better so I can go to that game. That's all I thought about.
Yeah.
Went to that game. Everything was great. Fast forward and the Chiefs are playing the Super Bowl out here. I'm hanging out at the Chiefs hotel. I'm out there with, the families, the players, and then I'm going to the NFL draft. And it's just like, maybe this is the reason, and maybe I'm here to help others. I don't know, you know.
I think so entirely, but
I mean, it was hard. It sucks what I went through, but I think there's a purpose.
which means I think you probably got to do the difficult thing and you got to talk about it.
Yes, I do too. And I have a journalism background, so maybe I'm good person to
Yeah,
be
you were
going.
set up to do this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
that's
no,
what.
this is divine intervention.
Yeah,
And it sucks though. It means you
yeah,
got to talk about it and it means some people might be mad at you.
yes. But if I can save a life or five,
Yeah.
then you know what? It's well worth it in my eyes.
Yeah. Good Lord. I was gonna ask you earlier, are there any like silver linings to this? And it sounds like there are.
There are silver linings, and that's just what I have to, that when I get angry and upset, that's what I look at.
What else, if you don't mind me asking, what other, I guess, drastic life changes have there been, good or bad?
Whew, just medical doctors. I have specialists now. I have a cardiologist. I have a neurologist. I have an endocrinologist. So I have to see doctors all the time now. I have to get lab work now. I'm on a I'm on a blood thinner, so that changes a lot in my life. My diet's changed. I have a loop recorder in my heart. Just sometimes I do feel like an old lady
What?
with all those things. Like, oh wait, I got to go to my cardiologist today, or I
Yeah.
got my blood thinner, or I cut myself and I'm bleeding everywhere because of my blood thinner.
Yeah.
I did become vegetarian after my stroke. Just something in my mind just told me, like, I don't know, I just didn't want meat anymore. It was very weird.
Interesting.
Yeah, that so just a lot of little life weird changes like that.
So on like the big picture, like life itself, philosophy, spirituality, the nature of God or lack thereof or whatever. How is it? So again, selfishly, losing a brother, kind of like you said, if I talk out about this, what's the worst that can happen? Well, it can't be worse than a stroke. Like,
No.
what kind of gave me the balls to like start this podcast is I was like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? Well, I didn't know how bad it was gonna be. I didn't know I was gonna lose all my friends. I was like, yeah, it's just a podcast. What's the worst that can happen? People won't subscribe to it. Woo! Little did I know. I started the podcast December 12th, 2019, the day COVID came to the United States. I don't know. So it kind of seems like it was written in the stars that I was screwed. But even then, if I could have told myself in 2019, what's the worst that could happen? Well, you're gonna lose all your friends. Even then, I would have been like, all right, whatever. I lost a like, what do I care? Go for it. And so it's helped me kind of do things and speak my mind more freely because what is the worst that's gonna happen? Well, someone might dislike your video. Dude, I've been on my brother's funeral. I don't give a shit. But then there's like this like higher order thing where it's not even like what am I doing and ego and social pressures, but like what is reality? What is God? What is good and evil and karma and why are we here? And it has allowed me to, kind of go deeper and deeper into meditation, trying psychedelics and meditate. What's the worst that can happen? It can't be worse than suicide. It's brought me through a lot of tumultuous times, but I mean, really at the core, I have an unshakable level of peace that has come from all of this. So, we're talking about these kind of earthy things, going to football games, meeting doctors, all of this stuff, becoming a vegetarian. How is it on like a deeper level? If you pray or if you meditate or just, sitting still and watching a sunset, what has it done for you, like deep inside, like the ineffable, the inexplicable, how has it changed your outlook on like reality itself?
I did fall into a very, very deep depression. I just kept thinking, why did this happen to me right after, for the first, probably, it's been a year and a half. And so the last 6 months I've been doing a lot better with therapy. But before then, it was just a very deep depression of, why did this happen to me?
Yeah.
All I kept thinking about. But then I kind of got more into the spiritual level side of things, of more into like reincarnation,
Okay.
thinking that you live each life, different lives though.
Mhm.
And each different life, you're forced with a challenge. And that's the whole point of reincarnation, is each life you are forced with a challenge and it makes you better. And that's the whole point of reincarnation. And so I've really dove deep into that, and that type of stuff, and spiritual things. And I was very close to my grandmother, and she's been gone for several years now. She passed away in 2016, but kind of getting back into, I don't know, like getting in touch with her in a way,
Hmm.
like Tyler Henry does.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So that those types of things I was really getting into, just because I felt like I needed her
Hmm.
during those. So that's kind of the road I was on, still on.
With the reincarnation thing, like one reason I'm like pushing so hard to like make this succeed and whatever, and is like, not only do I want to, not only do I feel like it's the right thing, and then as you said earlier, it's like there are no other fears. So what are you gonna do? I also have this almost like nagging feeling that it's like putting off chores or something. I'm like, you have to do it. Like, I failed pre-calculus 3 times in college. With Drew failed. I think I had UGA. And I'd be like, yeah, I'll take it next semester. And it just finally dawned on me one day as I was withdrawing for the third straight semester. I was like, I want to go to medical school. I have to take this course and I have to pass it. I can keep kicking it down the road, but I'm a freshman, I'm a sophomore, I'm a junior. Like, I got to take this thing and it's going to suck and I'm going to hate it. And I hate math, but and I finally passed with like a C minus. But like, I finally did it. And there's also just this like childish side of me to the reincarnation thing where I'm like, it's good to do. It's a spiritual calling. It's becoming closer to God. It's what I'm here to do, blah, blah, blah. But then there's also just this like, you have to do it in the next one, man. If you
Yeah,
don't do
exactly.
it this time, you got to fucking do it next life. You're just going to be reincarnated again. You're going to have to do the podcast and do that. You can keep dragging your feet if you want. You got to do it. You have to take the trash out. Like, you have to vacuum. It's just, no one's doing it I live by myself. Like, when I was moving in here in November, I had all these boxes and I just had this. I was like, yeah, they'll get unpacked. And I remember stopping and went, by who?
Right.
Like, right? If I go visit my parents, and I have a pile of laundry, like my mom will do it. Like, but when I put dishes on the table, like, my mom will put them away. Like, but I live by myself, and I just remember stopping. I was like, who the fuck's gonna unpack it? What do you mean it's gonna get unpacked? No, you have to do it. And I was like, oh, this sucks. But like, that's kind of how I feel with like what you're talking about, like reincarnation and karma. Like, what do you mean it'll get done eventually? By who?
Right. You just got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. If you can't tell, I go on very odd
Oh no,
uh
and I gotta speak out about this. I mean, it's funny because I've tried to get many people to listen to my story, and I just feel like I couldn't get in contact with anyone, like local news state, or maybe they just didn't want to hear it. Local news stations, or maybe they just didn't get my messages.
I would imagine it's because of the vaccine.
Um, when she was running for governor, Carrie Lake did respond to me.
That's cool.
but she did. And I mean, I worked at Fox 10 for like 4 weeks, but then I left because I was like, oh, this is it for
Screw
me.
this.
And she's like, yeah, you got out at the right time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she didn't really do too much because I mean, she was running for governor and
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. No. Yeah. They're not responding because I'm sure that one of them was like, "Hey, I'm going to cover this story," and boss is like, "Yeah, you're fired if you do that."
yeah,
You know,
exactly.
thou shall not speak ill of the vaccine.
That's what I was assuming. So I'm glad I finally got a hold of somebody who wants to talk about it.
It's a psychosis, man. There's nothing I've never seen anything like it in my life. I don't think anyone's alive has ever seen anything like this. I don't think there's ever been something like this in recorded history. The seeming spell that everyone this is happening. You know, I got the vaccine and it didn't harm me. God bless. I'm happy it didn't. But
Yeah, thank God it didn't because you don't want to go through what I went through.
yeah, I'll have people comment, I got the vaccine, and I'm like, good. I'm happy you survived, man. Congrats. I played Russian roulette and it didn't blow my brains out. Good. I'm very happy. You got out. Doesn't mean we should keep playing the game. And
Right.
but so many people have been injured by it. It is
And
so clearly an experimental crapshoot.
I've known lots of people who've given it to their children.
God. And
And it's but
we just don't bring it. It's just, I mean, is it not? Does not almost feel like a bad dream where it's like you're screaming and no one can hear you? You're just like, and I wasn't even injured, but I didn't take it. But like, there's just this psychotic thing where it's like you have to take it. If you talk about it, you're yelled at. If you want to know what's in it, you're laughed at. And if you want to hold the people accountable that gave it to you, you're legally not allowed to. And it's like, are we? No one thinks this is odd, and everyone just got their. Oh, I don't want to be the person to talk about it. I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
and I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared that it's not the end of it for me. I mean, what is gonna say 6 months from now? I don't have something else that happens.
I didn't even think about that.
I mean, luckily I do have a loop recorder. And nothing has shown up yet with AFib, but who's to know that if something does show up, it wasn't the vaccine that caused that and not my body, you know? I what if I don't know. I would hate to even think of that, but what if I get another blood clot
Yeah,
and I mean, obviously I'm not on any hormones anymore, but and everything is clear, but just because that everything is clear doesn't mean I still don't have that vaccine in me. So of course I have a little, I guess, PTSD that it's not over.
sure. How would you not? I don't, dude. I'm not even kidding. I get nervous. I call my mom every evening at like the same time. If I ever get a phone call from a family member in the middle, just because everyone texts, it's been 9 years. I legitimately like my heart starts racing because I think of my parents calling me and telling me about I'm not even kidding. If I get a phone call from a family member, because it's just like we don't talk. What are we doing? Why you didn't text? If I see a phone call in like the middle of the day, I'm not. My heart goes through the roof. It's been 9 years. I'm like, what the. It's my mom being like, but you left your shoes up here, and I'm like, Jesus, please text that to like, God, I can't do this. But like, I mean, I'm a chronically anxious person, and everything in my life is fine. Knock on wood. I've thought about it before. I'm not even kidding. I've had nightmares where like I get the vax, and every day I'm just like, I always make like in my dream, and I'll be like, I always make sure like my phone is on and I'm ready to call someone because I'm like, what if I drop? Like, what if I fall over? What if I start? What if like my thoughts start getting cloudy? Like, what if I start shaking? Like, I I'll be honest, man. I don't know how people out there that have it Maybe they just don't have chronic anxiety. I don't know how you go through your day. I mean, if I were you, I think I might be at least like the worst of it's probably over. But if I had it and I hadn't been injured, I'd be like, no, I haven't been injured yet. I don't know how that would drive me insane. What's that like that toy that dun 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 dun, 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 you crank it and I'd lose my mind. I don't know. Sorry, I know I'm just ranting now.
Oh, it's just hard to believe that. I mean, I still can't believe it happened to me, but
Yeah, that's gotta like. I'm sure whenever you have a headache
yeah.
or like a hiccup, like if I ever feel my heart jump, I'm always like, well, I didn't take the. I'm not even kidding. I'm like, if I didn't take the vaccine, it's probably caffeine. I'm like, he, I mean, you got to be. I don't know how do you keep like a calm composure? Maybe I'm just. I also might just be crazy. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's just I guess because I see the doctor so much and everything has checked out fine. I'm kind of over that. But at first, it was pretty much everything I was worried.
Jesus. I'm sorry if I'm asking you like the dumbest questions. I'm just
Oh no,
this is terrifying to me. God.
the whole thing was very scary. I mean, I thought I was dying the whole time.
So what is it like in that moment when you think you're dying? Was was it
It's a
just
very
like sheer terror? Was there any peace?
yes,
Oh, okay.
no,
No, so there's no like peace and I see the light. It's just
no.
God.
I guess I wasn't dying, thankfully, but it was. I mean, when you're having a stroke, you can't think, you can't move. You want to move, and you can't. You can't talk. You can't raise your arm, no matter, or your leg, as much as you want to try. You can't. You can't get the words out. You want to say something, and you just in your mind, it's incredible. You're paralyzed.
How did you, if you don't mind me asking, how did you meet Dr. McCullough? That absolute saint of a man.
I reached out to him. I
Okay.
doing some research on people I could reach out to that would listen to my story, and I found him on, I believe, Twitter or Instagram, and I reached out to him and messaged him, and he said, and I think he kind of was like, okay, this might be an interesting story, and so I he had me email him, and then we talked on the phone, and he goes, okay, you have a very amazing, interesting story. And so he wants to try to get me on his show and talk about it, and hopefully it leads to more, and just get my story really out there, and others hear it and they come forward with their story, or it makes them think twice about getting the vaccine.
He is an absolute angel of a man.
He is. The more and more I hear about him and see what he's doing, it's incredible.
He is. I almost don't like talking to him because I just feel like I come up so short. It's just like I feel like I'm doing well, and I talk to Dr. McCullough, and I'm like, shit, I'm nowhere near him. Yeah, he is a that guy is the definition of doing God's work. I mean, really, it just Dr. McCullough to me is proof that there is good in the world. That
Exactly.
someone that smart is that unwavering in doing the right thing.
And the research he's done, and some of the things he has found, and then it's a lot of it's just aligning with my story and what I'm going through, and it's like we were meant to meet.
He's almost like a character. He's almost like a heartthrob character in a book that you'd read, and you'd be like, did an eighth grade girl write this? He's too perfect. Like he's the most published cardiologist in world history. He's been on Joe Rogan. He runs marathons, and he fearlessly speaks truth. Shut up, right?
I know.
That'd be like a girl describing Tom Brady and be like, I want Tom Brady or nothing. It's like, you can't have Tom Brady. He's Tom Brady, right?
Yeah,
He has to be a male model and worth $1 billion and have 7 Super Bowl. It's like, no, lower the lower the expectations. That's what Dr. McCullough is. It's like he's like if he was written in a book, it'd be a bad character. You'd be like, he's too good.
he's
Make
too
him
good.
worse. Where are the character flaws?
It's incredible what he's doing, and I hope he can continue to do it and more people jump on board and see what he's doing. And we, I don't know what we can do, but fight the good fight.
Jeez. Ah, I mean, hopefully this will reach a number of people on my podcast. I mean, yeah. Um, I've kept you for an hour, so I say we wrap this one up. But
All right.
um, is there anything? Is there any like closing thoughts you want? And by the way, you can come back on. It doesn't have to just be one episode. Is there any
Awesome.
like closing thoughts? Do you want me to link anything in the description? Do you have anything you want me to put in there? Or
Um, no, I'm hoping to get maybe I'm hoping to talk to a nurse or something that can, if there's any nurses out there or anyone who's willing to help me more on like the medical terms to get something published in a medical journal. My story, I'm a writer, but I'm not a medical writer.
yeah,
So we think that'd be a great start. Just trying to get everything together that I have of my records and images, just get my story told, but my story told more about the vaccine.
yeah. Um, if you want, obviously I can't speak for any of my guests because whatever. But I mean, I've done 1,200 plus episodes. If you go through my life, and I've had some wild guests. If there's anyone you
Awesome.
want to talk to, if there's anyone that
Okay.
would help, if I put you in touch, I've had on a ton of doctors. God knows why. I don't know why they keep coming on this show, but I
Yeah.
think I'm wildly unprofessional. But they keep coming on this show. If
Okay.
talking to any of the doctors or nurses or specialists, if that would be of benefit to you, happily put you in touch with them. Um, and if you want, I can try to get you on other shows. Again, I don't know how successful I'll be, but I can absolutely try that if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah. Anyone who's willing to listen and talk to me, just we want to, the more people who hears my story, the better. And then the more people who will be willing to tell their story.
Absolutely. Well, uh, I apologize for my my rather unorthodox interview style
Oh, it was great. I love it.
of yelling and swearing and just getting riled up. But that's eh. Actually, I don't apologize. I like doing it. What?
I'm there with you. I feel it.
Hell yeah. Well, Miss Calli Varner, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for telling your story. And please, seriously, go through. You have my number. Please go through the library. If there's anyone you want to talk to, let me know, and I'll put you in touch with them.
Will do.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And please, I never actually ask people to share my podcast because I hate when people do that. I think this is one that like you probably should share. There, you probably know someone who's been injured by this, and they need to, at the very least, know that they're not alone. So, Miss Calli Varner, thank you so much for your time,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you so much for watching. Till next.